So it's day 3 in Angkor for Siem Reap. Today we're doing a very remote tour outside of the Angkor city. We're going to see the Cambodian landmine museum. There's a waterfall temple, or river temple maybe is a better way to call it. And then two other temples outside the city that are famous. This is day 3 of our 3-day itinerary for Angkor Wat. Click the link below this YouTube video to get our webpage that has the itinerary for all 3 days, plus videos. You can watch the videos and see which ones you're interested in. So I'm at the Cambodian Landmine Museum. This was an interesting story. The founder of this, his name's 𝒂𝒃, and the Khmer Rouge killed his parents, which he doesn't remember. And he was a Khmer Rouge soldier from age 5 and was placing landmines all over Cambodia by age 11. Eventually, he defected to the Vietnamese army and was a Vietnamese soldier here fighting against the Khmer Rouge. And then once Cambodia was back in charge of itself, and the Khmer Rouge was forced into the jungle, he became a member of the Cambodian National Army. And through all that time, he's been involved in first placing the mines, and since independence, he's been involved in clearing the mines. You probably have heard Cambodia has one of the biggest landmine problems in the world. There's up until 2014, every year the number that were dying was going down, but even in 2014 there was 157 people in Cambodia died from stepping on landmines, and it doubled every year before that, like 30, 60, 100,000. They had, I think, one year where 150,000 people died from stepping on landmines here, left from the 35 years of war. And that's what this museum's all about. There's a couple of things I want to show you inside. So these are landmines that 𝒂𝒃 has cleared. When he first started, they would actually pull them apart, pull out the dynamite. Later, when the international community got involved, they started exploding them in place. But all of these are ordinances here from all over the world, the U.S., China, that were brought to Cambodia during the 35 years of war that were happening. There's an international treaty. It can be hard sometimes when you're traveling Southeast Asia, just because you read about what's happening with the U.S. As a U.S. citizen, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes to see what your country is involved in and how it lasts much longer than whatever ambitions that your country may have had and whatever good intentions. But the surprising thing to me is sometimes what we're doing lasts. We don't really learn from our mistakes. So there's a treaty about not using landmines, and there's various treaties, it's kind of embarrassing to see here, but alphabetically Afghanistan all the way through to Zimbabwe. See the little there's a little black box here. It says no. In other words, a black box means you're not a member of the treaty. And the United States, of the 4 treaties, landmines, cluster bombs, nukes, and there's a climate treaty of some kind too. The U.S. is not a member of any of them. In fact, I can't. There's no other nation up here that's not a member of any of them but the U.S. So it's kind of disheartening, I got to tell you. Anyway, so they have this this museum here is fascinating, and then they have a school out back where when children lose an arm or a leg from a landmine, or they lose their parents, this place takes them on and teaches them, helps them finish school, go to school, and even get a scholarship to college, or to a trade school if they prefer trade school. And there's it's a great place to come visit. I don't know, I think it's one of your responsibilities as a citizen is just sort of be aware of what your country's doing so you can talk intelligently about it. And I think travel affords one of those opportunities, but this is definitely a place you should come see. And next time your country's revving up to attack somewhere in the world, it's worth thinking about what are the long-term consequences and whether or not it's the right thing to do. There's one more thing I wanted to show you before we head off to the next stop on this day 3 tour. Every one of these little tiny red dots is a bomb the U.S. dropped during the Vietnam War. Now this is Cambodia, it's not Vietnam. Every one of these dots is a bomb that the U.S. dropped, and these bombs are large enough to blow a hole in the ground that's 15 meters across, which is far, it's like 45 feet, and up to 6 feet deep. And that was, what the American government thought was the thing to do at the time to
Slap it.
So when you look at this, it looks like there might just be stones aligned, but this is a rock riverbed, and those are carved into the riverbed, the stone riverbed. Then over here on the wall, you can see the arts carvings also. So each of those little stone round circles carved into the riverbed is called a linga, and it represents the feminine energy that we see in all the temples here that I've been showing you in day 1 and day 2. And they believe they carved those into the riverbed because the water flowing over those is headed towards the city Angkor. So they believe it was purifying the water. I don't know if you can see the triangle right here. With one side is open towards the bottom. That's the cervix, and there's the womb, feminine energy, if you will. That's where they make the babies.
closed. The only bit me I could get in there.
Did you have any fish come up and take care of it?
No, actually not. Right, hang on, you guys all hang there because I'm going to see if I can get this knotty bit of branch. Hang on, you pull your point. Alright.
So the sandstone here is, the carving is much more intricate than other temples you'll see around Angkor Wat, which you'll be tempted to touch. You don't want to touch because the oil from your hands will get onto the rock and discolor it a little bit. This is a 10th century temple. It's made of red sandstone, so it's a little easier to carve. That's why it appears a little more intricate. The date 967 comes to mind. Is when this was finished. And it's known locally as the woman's temple because the rock appears a little pink, sort of. But the Sanskrit on the temple says it's a temple dedicated to Shiva, the Hindu god Shiva. So Brahma was the creator. So there's Brahma, there's Shiva, and there's Vishnu. Shiva's the destroyer god, and Vishnu is the maintenance god, preserving god. So Shiva is at the end of a life cycle. So this is dedicated to death or endings. It's also known as a miniature temple because it's not as large and grandeur as the others. And it's the only one of the temples that wasn't built by one of the kings. It was built by his court. Maybe that's why it's miniature. Costs a little less, maybe. 𝒠𝒃 was commenting that this reminds her of Indonesia, Indonesian art. And I get it. And of course, Indonesia was Hindu at the same period, and the art therefore is related to the religion and was spread all throughout Southeast Asia during that period. Our last temple of the day. It's very peaceful.
Oh yeah.
This is the only temple we've been to where we're the only people.
Very nice.
It's nice, yeah. This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, could you please like it, subscribe, or comment? Any of those would increase our rankings in the search engines, which would help our business greatly. Thanks so much in advance.